Of course, a really interesting way to sort of ring in a very momentous match here, of course. The Dallas Fuel go up against the Atlanta Reign, two teams that have traded no shortage of blows, obviously, in the Western region throughout the course of this year. And now it all comes down to this. Only one team can advance to take on the Dragons.
And I think it's pretty interesting what Johnny said earlier, and I kind of agree. It's like... It's really, I think, kind of depends on Dallas, right? Does Dallas let Atlanta get away with being able to play these rush compositions? And Atlanta obviously does play them at a very high level, but still, there should be different things you can do to be able to circumvent this, especially when you know it's coming. It's not a surprise at this point what Atlanta is going to play. If Dallas lets them do that, Atlanta can definitely win this series.
The Atlanta Reign are definitely looking fired up after the previous match, whether it's in chat, on Twitter, or in-game. And now it's time to bring them out one more time, everybody. Prepare yourselves for the Atlanta Reign.
The Atlanta Reign, cool, calm, and collected, answering back with pick after pick. Atlanta Reign with some absurd DPS performances. Gator lays down the shadow. That is beautiful. Oh! My God. It's like, okay, well, Pelican's down. Time to step up, I guess. Headshot after headshot after headshot.
Stunning defensive work.
Oh, my goodness.
It's devastating how good Pelican is.
Kai! He gets two! And Hawk with the self-destruct. The Atlanta Reign, they're looking straight at the top, Matthew. You've got a Rookie of the Year. You've got a hit scan god. You've got one of the best aggressive divas in the Western region and maybe even one of the top globally. You've got a mechanical god on the Baptiste and Flex supports. The Atlanta Reign are serious business.
This team has been rock solid all year long. Obviously making it to Hawaii 3 times during the year. Pelican wins Rookie of the Year. And you know, it's kind of funny. We announced the Roll Stars today. There's no Atlanta representation in that whatsoever. Where I voted for Iris. I thought he had a tremendous
Pelican's
year.
out by 3.
Pelican did barely
and
miss
in fairness,
out. But
we had some people vote Molan Run, for example. There were some interesting votes. So maybe if they were.
But Hawk has had a very strong year. Iris, I think it just kind of speaks to how this Atlanta team they play. And the comps they want to run, just very scrappy. Everybody kind of pulling their weight together.
Every one of these teams are looking for their first Overwatch League title, and the Reign's opposition had a great, strong start to the year. They dipped off a little, but now they're here to play. Of course, it's the one and only Dallas Fuel.
They're such an anomaly. They're one of a kind. They're so unique, you cannot prepare for the Dallas Fuel.
Dallas Fuel are operating on another level. This is a masterful machine with all of the cogs working in the right way.
These mechanics.
The mechanics!
Oh my word!
6-man anti! 6-man anti!
Wow!
It's gigantic!
Playing so aggressive! What is that?
That is disgusting.
Doha from the side! You've got to be joking!
Today, those in burn blue, burn brightest! Less than 4 2021 Roll Stars on this Dallas Fuel team. They are the real deal. But they weren't good enough against the Shanghai Dragons yesterday. Not even close. They definitely had to have a hard look at themselves last night, Matt, and they better be coming back with some of that new fire.
I mean, nobody's really been that close to Shanghai throughout the playoffs thus far, but Dallas, they clearly want to get back and have that rematch. There's some of the stuff in that series that they thought, possibly could work out in the long run. They just have to get by this Atlanta Reign team, which a lot of these matches, Josh talked about it, I believe it was either on Twitter or during one of the casts, where there's just so many different stylistic matchups and so many different compositions that the teams like to play in this playoffs. It's not really been dedicated by or predicated by one specific composition, where both of these teams have very differing styles on how to play and what they want to play, that are left. And it's going to be a real test for Dallas to make what they do work against Atlanta.
So to a great degree, these teams are going to be relying on their ability to execute their particular styles. But as this series goes, and tomorrow, of course, as we see the winner go up against the Shanghai Dragons, we'll also be examining the stylistic differences at this point, it's a little bit too late to make huge changes to your approach. A little bit here and there you can tweak maybe.
Atlanta has showed us some ball stuff. They showed us some Winston stuff, which
They
is a
looked
little bit
incredible
different.
on the Winston, to be fair.
Yeah, which is a little bit different than what we've seen from them thus far. And then Dallas has also brought out some wrecking ball looks pretty consistently here throughout the playoffs. So these teams have kind of deviated from, I know, their bread and butter, but really, this is going to be about Atlanta trying to play that rush, brawly, scrappy type of style, while Dallas tries to play fast and aggressive.
Oddly enough, that rush style was what gave Dallas Fuel their stage title in the first place, right? The Mayhem LA, the Dallas Fuel piloted that composition to victory. They've since sort of left it a little bit, but maybe this is a matchup on which they can go back to it.
Well, that's what the Shock just tried to do. And I think Atlanta welcomes that. They believe that they are the best rush brawl type of team in the world, in which you want to match us in this, we will play that over and over. We will go down swinging with what we think we are the best at. And at least here early on, it looks like Dallas wants to give it a go.
Here we go out of the gates here on Lijiang Tower, and it is indeed game on, ladies and gentlemen. The Dallas Fuel and the Atlanta Reign fights for that chance to have a crack at the Dragons in our final. And it is going to be the rush mirror here. Gator pushed very far forward in the middle of the map, and you can already see the Fuel try and get around behind the Reign. Harm is able to catch Kai out, though. That Immortality Field from Iris doesn't quite hit the mark.
Yeah, you're going to lose Fearless here for the Dallas Fuel, but you should still be able to win this fight. You have Iris going to fall now as well. So Dallas does a nice job getting aggressive early. Hanbin being able to find Kai is massive.
I mean, he and Doha were working their way through the flank there. Getting the Symmetra as the first pick is unreal.
The Symmetra is a large source of the damage in these fights, right? The longer the Symmetra lives, the more damage the Sim is going to do.
And now the Dallas Fuel trying to get more aggressive. Hawk playing cute on the corner just in case someone pushed too far. They'd be taken down by the remake, but that's not the case. In fact, it's Hanbin striking yet again. The first elimination in the fight. This time it's Gator down, and Iris follows soon after. The Atlanta Reign are getting a quick wake-up call.
And like you mentioned, Dallas Fuel use this type of composition in the melee to be able to win it all. This is not far into them. I think Atlanta, though, to get pushed back and kind of hit in the mouth this hard, this early, probably a little bit of a wake-up call. It's a different level up from what they had to deal with San Francisco.
Almost 40% on the clock now. Plenty of time for Atlanta to make the comeback, but Dallas are waiting for them to move on to the point. They've set the trap now, and all that remains is for the Reign to move up into it. Might be a TP, no, that's the wall. Hawk's going to quickly try and get away, and it had to be an ice block immediately from Pelican. Blizzards come down. The Venn diagram of disaster on the point here, but Hawk's the one that gets desuited. The Shadow's blocked by Gator, though. Great timing as both teams go for sound barriers. Oh, a couple players caught by another fantastic Doha wall, though.
This has been all Dallas Fuel, and if you're Atlanta, obviously very early, but definitely a little bit worrying that when you get into this mirror matchup, Dallas is willing to take it, and they are taking it to you here early on. 80% and counting for the Dallas Fuel. We can take a look here from Fielder's point of view, keeping everybody alive here, even through the sound barrier and some of these other ultimates used by the Atlanta Reign.
I mean, the Maywall from Doha really puts the last nail in the coffin there. Both teams with the amplification matrices now, but the Symmetra wall shuts Atlanta's matrix down. Can't say the same on the other side, though, as the Reign really had to be careful about peeking and try and get ahead past the wall. But Gator's going to be shattered mid-charge, and Doha cleans him up. That's 2 now for Doha. The May has been extremely impactful in this round, and the Atlanta Reign, frankly, haven't even had a bite of the apple. It's all Dallas so far here on Lijiang.
So that is as dominant of a rush performance you can pull out there early from the Dallas Fuel. Atlanta gonna have to bounce back in a big way here in this second round. That's their bread and butter. They got absolutely torched.
You see that there were mirror images of each other there. The ultimate economy was approximately the same, even though Atlanta were losing a lot of these fights, right? The Blizzards came up at the same time. The amplification matrices came up at the same time. But it was the stuff outside of that was really crucial, right? Late in the fight, Sparkle obviously able to survive a little bit longer. Doha really punishing that Shadow. Look at this setup.
Yeah, this is a Sim turret that I believe, actually, yeah.
So many Batistes are leaping up to their own demise so far tonight. Not quite as egregious as the last match,
no.
but...
So I know you lose your BAP, but it's pretty tough, right? Largest source of healing, Immortality Field, almost even more important.
Doha, okay, has the ice block there, gets a little too far forward, and Hanbin's been desuited already.
Oh, nice move.
Over the edge goes Doha. Good start now for the Atlanta Reign. Getting the desuit is a great start, and they'll be able to drag this one out and then move to take point.
Yes, the kill on the Hanbin early on is fantastic, right? Really kind of look at what Defense Matrix and Immortality Field is your two big defensive utility cooldowns.
Hawk's desuited, so there is a chance to get some good value out of this amplification matrix, but it looks like not enough fuel players were really in the vicinity to take advantage. So it's an ultimate thrown away.
They do trade, right? You know, Amp Matrix for Amp Matrix. Gonna have Pelican very close to this Blizzard here coming into the next fight. Big advantage over Doha.
Clever gets rid of the sentry turret on his way out, and he's got a sound barrier. He lets it go. Fearless and Hanbin crucially are on the wrong side of the Symmetra wall, though. They don't get the sound barrier. Now they're both going to be shattered. It's an Immortality Field desperately deployed by Fielder, but it doesn't keep the tank line alive. Sparkle's wall comes out, but it's far too late to have an impact.
That is a huge Symmetra wall there by Kai, whether intended or not. Splits off the tanks from receiving the sound barrier. Fearless and Hanbin both get shattered during that and then taken out. So Atlanta now starting to come alive, where first one really dominated by Dallas. This one really been all Atlanta, as a Pelican will have the Blizzard here. Double supportals available for the Atlanta Reign. So, you know, they're going to get up to, you know, close to 70% before this next fight kicks off.
Fearless is looking for MTD in this fight. Has a shadow ready. Maywall popped up early. Fearless happened to play behind it for the time being, and there's the shadow. Okay, catches Hawk and Kai with the sound barrier expertly applied after the fact by Masa. Here are the Blizzards once more on the point of Sparkle that careens over the edge. Care of Master, and he might be sitting more after him. The holographic fishes are going to feed well tonight as Hanbin goes over, and it looks like that was voluntary from Fielder.
Big plays by Masa, right? He had the boot early at the start of the round, and then being able to take out Sparkle there. As now you're going to see them move over the Dallas Fuel and end up playing a sim with a Doomfist. So Doha's going to pick up the sim when we get back in the game.
Yeah, they're going to start this fight pretty quickly here. This always seems like the last resort for the Dallas Fuel. Let's see if it works out. Maywall's going to slow Dallas down. Oh, they caught Sparkle. They're going to focus him down. He can't get away past the rooftop. A shadow catches Hanbin here, and Gator wants to go forward, but the bomb is going to give him pause for thought. That comes down, but Master's out, and it's a trade now. The Atlanta Reign are down to one support, and Gator tries to charge up, but there's a wall in his way. Jexa trying to play safe up on the high ground here, but the Symmetra barrier needs to be dealt with. His Hanbin felled by a resuit, and that's Jexa's sound barrier. This time, not so bad. Sparkle wasn't close enough to be impacted by it, but he's able to get some kills in this fight. Regardless, it's Fearless fighting Gator with the charge, and the Doomfist pays off. Last resort for Dallas. Works out.
Yeah, in the final moments, Dallas is able to turn it. They had to use everything in this fight. Said Atlanta, you know, you come back here, you can build up this Blizzard. You just have to be careful of the Doomfist, right? The Doomfist here for Dallas, it's just that one-shot kill potential that the Doom has that can really ruin anything you try and set up.
Getting rid of a May, getting rid of a Symmetra at the start of the fight.
Is really the squishy target.
But May, you can insta-kill a May, right? Normally she hangs around for far too long because of ice. Oh my God! Fearless just snapped legs! The Atlanta Reign tried to turn around, and they were far too late. Love that, and Fearless now is getting fired up.
I mean, there's no defense for that, right? TP immediately with the shatter coming on through it. So Atlanta, as soon as they pushed up, they probably knew as soon as that TP was taken, they hear the shatter. No way that they're able to block that. Especially in the scenario, right? Gator turns, you basically turn your back to the rest of the Dallas Fuel team with your shield up. He would have been burnt down instantly.
Atlanta a little rattled by that one, but they know they're one fight away from a win on this round. Sparkle has Meteor Strike in a moment. Remember, those cooldowns recover much quicker now while he's in air. Gator's hoping for some aggression, perhaps staying out of the poke range. Of course, Symmetra's annoying for that. In they go. Turret's giving him a tickle on. Here's the shadow. It's Fearless and Doha both caught by it, but the Immortality Field is timely. Great response. Gator quite low here. He gets pressured down by Doha, who's frozen, as he's Fearless. The Blizzard works out perfectly for the Atlanta Reign. And Dallas get walked over. Now Atlanta set up, and the Dallas Fuel are unlikely they can do too much more. Sparkle sneaks onto the point, rather than covert of him, but maybe stunned in a second. And yeah, Pelican is going to stop him in his tracks. This has been quite the lead on tower so far. we're going to a third round.
And Gator does his job perfectly there. He walks up, able to just kind of hit a shatter. I don't think Fearless expected that coming. Connects with 2, and then although it gets stunned and interrupted, the attempt of the play to try and pin, I believe it was Doha, back into the rest of the team, just kind of sends Dallas into a little bit of a chaos. So Dallas will switch back. They'll put Sparkle back on the Sim, Doha back on the May. As we'll get another mirror matchup here to end Lijiang.
And Atlanta were happy that the Shock opted into this setup as well. See how happy they are in a couple maps' time that the Fuel are doing the same thing. One thing's for sure, these two teams are evenly matched so far.
This first fight's going to be huge. It's, getting a May wall and a pick here early on will be massive. There goes the Immortality Field already.
So low. Gator so low, Hawk as well. The Atlanta Reign's Immortality Field was around for a long time and it prolonged their lives far longer than you would expect. But eventually it comes down and so do the Atlanta Reign, crumbling as they go.
So Dallas will get control of the point first. You imagine they get control of the point and they decide to push up, right? You can play this choke here. So maybe they don't think they have enough time to close the gap, but Atlanta seem to be waiting there for them.
They were maybe hoping the Fuel try and get a little more aggressive. Symmetra wall here for Sparkle, that's going to be a relevant ultimate. Pelican trying to freeze up, but there's that wall now. It splits the Atlanta Reign in 2, and Fearless is trying to take advantage. He wants to push up, but Gator catches Sparkle with a point-blank charge, somehow preempting the Symmetra coming forward. Unnatural precognition. And it's the Atlanta Reign who are getting it all done here. The Amp Matrix Fire Strike catches Jexa, and the Reign move into capture.
I mean, Gator had a few of those against San Francisco. Some nice fire strikes through the Amp Matrix, resulting in kills, and that's a huge take back there for the Atlanta Reign. They didn't have any ultimates going into that fight. They just used, I believe it was Iris with his Amp Matrix there, who gets it. So now you kind of have a Shatter, you have Blizzard working into this next fight. This one could be big. Now Dallas starts to use some of these ultimates. You're only at like 20% on the clock, but with how long these fights go, not many more fights after that.
TP. The Reign just sits on the ball. Oh my God, another one! Good response though from Gator. Fantastic way to counter the Reinhardt, and Fearless can't capitalize on an astonishing teleport shatter. But there's going to be a Fielder's Blizzard gets eaten up there. Excuse me, Pelicans. Self-destruct not going to be thrown on the point, but Pelican's going to be at an ice block, throws up a wall, and the Reign try and back up a little bit. Fearless is looking pretty healthy, though, when Hawk's lost his mech. Iris might be considering the Amp Matrix, and he goes for it here. The shield of Fearless is going to be able to stand tall for the time being, and they throw an ice wall to protect. Oh, the aggression from Fearless. This might cost him. Immortality Field is brought down, but Gator's faring no better, and Fearless just doesn't stop. He pushes straight into the wall, and all of Dallas steamroll the Reign after a very tense pre-fight.
Well, it's a beautiful Symmetra wall that comes out as Pelican here using Ice Block just to extend this one a little bit longer. Maybe Masa can get on in touch now. He gets taken out before, but the Sim wall from Sparkle, when Fearless goes in to try and take out Pelican, he actually gets caught off of the wall, and it looks like that Atlanta is going to be able to take him out. But you have the Batiste healing that comes in from Fielder. There's an Immortality Field there. And then when Gator gets so low, he can't receive any healing from Iris because that Symmetra wall gets in the way. So really nice placement of the Symmetra wall there from Sparkle.
Shatter, Fearless, caught, Immortality Field, and he's charged out of it. Perfect from Gator. You can't ask for much more than that here. I'm been able to find Iris amidst all the chaos here and stall out for as long as he can. A Hawk desuited, that's relevant. It's going to be Doha going for the Blizzard now. The Diva can't eat it up. Harmbin's lost his mech as well, and Doha's removed by Pelican. Symmetra wall and Blizzard drawn out here for Atlanta. They're spending everything to try and get the point back, but it's not a clean fight win. Fitness eventually is brought down. Kai has to triple down for kills, but Atlanta use almost everything.
And Dallas makes this switch again. Are they going to stay on this, where now Doha plays the Sim, and they're going to have Sparkle play the Doom? So this is really like an all-in type of scenario, and maybe it's because, like I mentioned, there wasn't a chance for them to build up those ultimates
They need to reposition Fearless for a Shatter. That's why they stay with the Sim here. They're definitely going to do something cheeky with it. Masa trying to get ready for it. Shatter, okay, nothing fancy about that one. Sound barrier here for Master, the only ultimate that Atlanta brought into this fight. It's effective, but not effective enough. Gator is brought down by the Fire Strike, and then Immortality Field is looking awkwardly placed from Iris. That's uncharacteristic. But he's shackled by those sim turrets as he tries to push up onto the point. Doha trying to get aggressive on Master, but he doesn't realize that Kai is nipping at his heels. It doesn't matter. Doha's found two. Kai's trying to back up here. Buy a bit of space as Doha needs healing, and there's no support. He's found out. Kai's able to dig him out of the corner now, and Jackson tries to push up with Harbin. They get rid of Kai. They go over the Rhine Shield, and Gator has to sheepishly retreat.
But Atlanta has so many ultimates here. They're going to have the self-destruct. You're going to have the shatter, the sim wall. You're in a great spot to take this map if you're in the Atlanta Reign shoes.
It's now or never for Atlanta. Here we go. Amplification Matrix fired off, and that's Hanbin with the Defense Matrix to protect against as much as possible. Symmetra Wall from Doha, and there's a shatter from Gator, but he might have to hold on to his here. It's no clear shot. It's blocked by Fearless. Fearless keeps his shield up for the time being, and Sparkle goes in. It's Pelican, the first casualty here, but there's two frozen on the fuel. Gator's able to capitalize on one of those, but Fearless finds his second kill for the fight, and he's still healthy. There's even an Earth Shatter here, and he lets it go. Nothing Gator can do now as he's charged backwards into the wall, but Kai was doing work the whole time. It's a 3v2, and now it's Masa on his own. Just not enough for the Atlanta Reign, but boy howdy, it doesn't get much closer.
And you had an ultimate advantage there for Atlanta going into that. Not able to turn it in the end as Dallas comes out on top, but that is as close of a map one as you can get. Dallas Fuel wondering what they would play going into this series, you know, try and kind of force the issue on some other types of compositions. They match them in the mirror.
Much like the San Francisco Shock, Dallas, they go the mirror. They stand their ground. They say, we pioneered this composition to victory in our first trip over to Hawaii, and we're going to show you how it's done. It's a good start for the Dallas Fuel, and no guarantee they'll play this composition for all of the maps. I have a feeling Atlanta want to play some Hanamura. Let's see what they pick after the break.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Who's that DPS? It's Sparkle!
Sparkle dominating the game, putting on an absolute show. There's just nobody like him in the league.
Sparkle has a blade, he pulls it straight away. This guy is legitimately unhinged.
We about to turn it on.
Oh my!
Sparkle's got so many tools in his arsenal. Sparkle tearing through them again. Media strike into it as well. Oh my god! He denies it! This is absurd.
Oh, he is so good at video games.
No one can really stop Sparkle right now.
And he does it with the remake as well.
And Sparkle saves what could have been a rough fight for the fuel again.
What a ridiculous play from Sparkle. The remake and the self-destruct. Are you kidding me? I mean, Sparkle, this is definitely going in the movie reel. Going to be paying an editor to try and collect all those clips up.
We about to turn it on.
Can anyone stop Sparkle?
There's the pulse bomb. Sparkle with another 3 kills, make it 4.
I mean, that is insane. Sparkle pushes all the way into the enemy spawn and...
What?
Oh no!
That's both supports.
You better believe it. Sparkle has a Death Blossom, trying to bring it down.
Sparkle comes out on the Soldier 76.
Sparkle is an absolute beast.
Now, Sparkle's arrival to the league was, excuse me, well heralded, to say the least. Many fans had already been built in his name during his time at Element Mystic. But what we maybe didn't realize is that this now role star would carry or help Dallas through some really awkward roster situations, right? Exy was supposed to be on this team and really be piloting so many of those hit scan roles, but Dallas got it done without him. They didn't replace Exy, no. They just made it work with Doha and Sparkle.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that a lot of people were worried about with this team. I mean, I was as well. I think just most of the community is at some point, usually during every Owl season, there's a point where hit scan becomes something you absolutely need, whether it was like a Cowboy, Widowmaker, Ashe in previous seasons. This year we never really had a meta that was dominated or really needed for one of those. So a part of it works out in their favor. The meta is pretty open this year and you can get by with a lot of different things. But I also think Sparkle and Doha, when needed, have stepped up in such a huge way to be able to, maybe in less ideal situations, play things at an extremely high level to make this work for the team.
Now, the map selection here is Hanamura. That, of course, is the Atlanta Reigns choice. We know it's strong for them, but our Xfinity map leaderboard would indicate that, well, the Dallas Fuel, at least in years gone by, have been extremely confident and comfortable on this map. The problem is that the 2020-20 alien squads look barely anything like this one. So,
yeah, I mean, I'd be looking for, like, where's the Paris Eternal?
Well, Atlanta is on the receiving end of a proper booming from the Glads on this map as well, in fairness. Yeah. But this is the Atlanta Reigns pick. It works with their style. We've seen how they make it happen. Now, San Francisco played Lucio Baptiste. They played rush defense on this map, but we've seen the Atlanta Reign do use that Echo, right? Pelican plays Echo. They really play above the choke. They make it really, really hard for teams to push through. So keep an eye on this. It might just be a Baptiste Orisa. That makes more sense, because without the Lucio, you need a Mercy for your...
Dallas could play what the Shock opted to do, and what we saw Dallas try to do a little bit during the games against Shanghai yesterday, where they play not exactly what they're playing right now, very close, but Sparkle on the Reaper, potentially. So you could see something like that come out. We've seen teams go to this, whether Dallas tried to run it with a ball, which didn't look great. The Shock have run it with the Winston, which I think has looked a little bit better.
I mean, let's make it very clear. If Dallas come out on this particular composition, it's as hard to play against the really, reliable healing and durability of the Atlanta Reign composition, not to mention the fact that Kai can sit in the background and Pelican can play from the sky. There's very little that Dallas have that directly interacts with Pelican outside of Doha hacking him and trying to clip his wings. So Dallas needs to be lightning quick through this choke.
And they play Tracer with it. So they opt to not play the Sim, not play Reaper, play a Tracer with it. So this is kind of like, you almost see teams run like a ball with this and play a different support line, but a little bit of a hybrid comp here.
All right, so Doha snuck in here. He was left in the choke. Look at that! Oh! The hack on Masa! Is there follow-up? Oh, it's beautiful! Perfect setup here for the Dallas Fuel, but now they've got to fight to finish. They get rid of the Mercy, but there's still Iris in play. That's a hack on towards Gator here as Doha is trying to coordinate the team on their next focus target, and that is just astonishing. Fantastic execution from Dallas. Now it's about the cleanup.
think that's what a lot of it comes down to with some of these teams is that maybe you have the right comp, the right idea, but you can't execute it to a high edge level as Atlanta can execute some of their stuff. But right there, Dallas was perfect. Almost 6 minutes on the clock. We can take a look from Doha's POV here as well.
You can't do anything about that. You're getting hacked as Mercy. You don't have time to pull out the Glock and get them. You also can't get out of line of sight easily at all there.
I gotta say as well, I think Jexa has played a pretty good series thus far. Obviously pretty early, but I think there's sometimes where you see him die early in some of these fights. Can't afford that here against a game like Atlanta, a team like Atlanta. And you know, at least early, he's been huge in some of these fights, using the speed, getting behind, really being a disruptor.
He came into his own in the May Melee and the June Joust especially. Sparkle finds, he's found by Kai rather. Gone. Yep. No pulse bomb on the coalescence here. Looks a little fizzled. Immortality Field is going to allow the rain to weather that storm. Speaking of storm, Kai looking for more.
And let's see if these switches by Atlanta kind of forces Dallas Fuel to make some changes. Yeah, so they go over to Reaper, so when the Torb comes out, Torb a little bit better, especially with Reinhardt, can battle up close. Oh, that's actually long range.
In fairness, he was aiming for Sparkle at least, which is more than we can say for some Hangzhou kills we see.
Yeah, that's true.
Again, Dallas don't have a great way to access Kai. That is just the reality of the situation. There's no Symmetra. Obviously, Reaper can teleport. They've all been spotted though, and here comes the Dragon. Oh dear. Fearless taking the brunt of that damage right now, and Massa make sure they clean up.
Nothing they can do to even really help him, right? So
they're looking for a catch here. An EMP maybe?
An EMP.
No way.
Lost Jackson,
Doha,
so, yeah.
Doha's like, no, listen. Not today.
They probably thought about it. Like, if they didn't lose Jexa, like, could you EMP there and charge right in? You would have had a self-destruct potentially to use there. It's possible. But once you lose Jexa, you have to back out.
It depends how good the Atlanta Reigns protocols are for that kind of situation, because there's no way they're expecting it, right? So their instinctive response would dictate how that fight would go. All right, Doha, he's back in again. Hawk is studiously checking every corner. Doha is having to play it safe. Okay, Hawk's hacked here. Is that enough, though? Kai's already been picked up. Hawk can't chase Fearless to try and peel for his backline. The Sombra hack is really setting these fights up, and Iris is taken down by the bomb. Fearless made it impossible to hide away from that, but there's much more to be done. Pelican is a problem, Matt. Oh, he's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you do not want to get up close and personal with the Torbjorn, especially with the overload. They feel like it's winnable, that fight, and they end up investing the EMP, and this may be more of the reason why they invest some of those ultimates. They decide to make a change, so Dallas will end up playing the May composition with the Reinhardt in the sim, so they go back to a rush here versus Atlanta.
Not too shabby, Pelican. Oh, yeah. Okay, dude. Okay, so Moira Lucio, the Doom Fist has now been integrated. And the sim.
Rally here available for Atlanta.
Sound barrier. Shatter from Gator catches Fearless. Here's the Dragon Strike. Pretty well placed, if I'm honest with you. It's going to be Fearless taken down by Gator, though, and the Atlanta Reign are really staking their claim to this high ground. Spark was able to find the one kill, but that's all she wrote.
And they just take so much damage during the fight. Dallas Fuel, right? You get up here, even if you have the Doom and whatnot, you're getting poked down from the side by the Torb turret, the Hangzhou arrows just through this choke. It's really difficult to get anything going on. That is nice.
I think Gator might have been attempting to reposition there, but he'll take that for sure. Not too shabby now. Okay, Dallas are playing Baptiste Brig here. Guess they don't fancy the speed boost, but the durability in a standard fight, right? That's what they want here. Ooh, that Immortality Field gets stretched to its very limit, but it does its job. Yeah, Dallas is still whole.
There's no answer for some of this, like, if they can't close the gap, right? Atlanta, especially with the Lucio in the mix, right, can just kind of kite this, and you will just take so much damage over time, right? From the Batiste, the Torb at range. Here's an Amp Fire strike by Gator. Kick things off, and that is beautiful.
Spot on from the Atlanta Reign there. The Amp Matrix, they start the fight. Again, they have the mindfulness to take an opportunity here to be proactive, even when they're the ones waiting for Dallas to come to them. And Jackson says, I'm not playing Brig here. We can't respond to these kind of hijinks from the Atlanta Reign. Back to the Lucio now, and again, we've seen a few different looks here. Dallas haven't cracked the code yet.
Now Pelican away from Tor.
Okay.
And he'll go to Doomfist of his own. So now we're at a full-on mirror matchup.
Reposition from Dallas, and Matrix is down, and Sparkle, he's got himself in the cookie jar, and Iris has been taken down. Rocket Punch doesn't connect, but Pelican was already removed. Sparkle now is going to return to the fray as quickly as possible, and he's chasing Master. Nothing to be done. He's uppercut into next Tuesday. And Sparkle should be in a decent spot to clean up, but Kai and Hawk trying to hold the line here for the Reign. Now he puts into Iris again. Sparkle needs to respect the damage Iris can do in this fight, and Pelicans return to the fray.
Is it enough with the respawns coming in here for the Atlanta Reign? So you have Kai here with this sim wall. Now you got everybody back here for Atlanta. They do end up, looks like, giving up a little bit more than a tick.
That might be relevant for Dallas here. One more shot. TP to the high ground now. They're going to drop down. Fearless has a shatter. Keep an eye on it. Okay, it's going to catch Hawk, but not Gator, and he's going to slap Fearless about with that hammer. Iris has been removed here, which is crucial, but Dallas have also lost their Batty, so this will be a quick fight now without those immortality fields being relevant. Sparkle, okay, gets rid of Kai, and Pelican's going to get worked out by Doha. Dallas might have an opportunity here. Harmon's gotten rid of Gator. He's low. Hawk's going to be able to pressure him down, and the reinforcements don't seem to be forthcoming. Harvey wants to dip off. He thought about maybe going under the bridge for a health pack, but he probably realized there was no chance of that. That's close. Atlanta really getting pressured there, but I mean, whew, they look good on Hanamura. That defense is tight.
I was going to say, so they did not look good on their point A defense, but once we got to point B, they had the answer every single time. No matter what Dallas switched to, Atlanta knew exactly what they were going to move off of their compositions next to stop it. So they put up a great defense there on that second point.
Well, you have to think that the Atlanta Reign have scrimmed against the Fuel many times. You know, especially during the regular season and leading into Hawaii, a lot of the Western teams are probably trying to put their heads together and come up a way to sort of be dominant in that international competition. Of course, our Pick'em Lives are on at the moment, live.overwatchleague.com, and you can answer that question, who has the most environmental kills in the playoffs? It's a tough one. Divas and Lucio's there. Good luck to you. What do you think, Matt? Who has the most environmental kills? Masa, Hanbin, Void, Jexa.
I would say
attackers incoming
in the playoffs. Could be Void. I feel like we've seen a decent amount of like Diva knockoffs from people.
Okay.
I think that may be a little bit of a bait trying to get people to go towards the Lucio. So
Matt obviously is not responsible for your Pick'ems getting boomed as a result of using his answer.
No.
Just going to indemnify it.
And if you use my answer and you get it wrong, don't tweet me.
Matt likes a clean
I was put on the spot. I was put on the spot. Hey, your timeline's always clean if you don't look at it, right?
All right, just like the laundry basket, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm terrible at doing laundry.
All right, Dallas here have the rush composition with the Mei. Doha really quite exceptional on this Mei pick. Very impactful on Li Jiang Tower earlier on. But here's the TP. Off we go. Okay, not quite to the point. A staging ground set up here for the Atlanta Reign just outside of point A.
It's kind of like a Li Jiang Tower all over again, right? With the compositions, and you're essentially just fighting over this one control point.
Waiting for like a TP shatter.
Yeah.
Okay, turret's been put up there. Gator gets walled. It's not perfect, but Gator's being knocked out of position. I think Fearless is just holding him one there. Good immortality kill from Iris, but Hanbin is so sharp. He sees that straight away and just gets rid of it.
Yeah, those sim turrets, they may not do a ton of damage like all the time, but the slow added to it is just
on a Reinhardt.
On a Reinhardt is so annoying, because you saw there from Gator, he was actually trying to back around the corner and like kite some of that damage, but he's slowed by the sim turret, so they have to use the immortality field early, and they're able to blow it up, and still he's getting hit by those, not able to make it out.
All right, attempt number 2. Bait the TP, move in and try and catch Doha, who had to ice block here. I mean, he's in trouble. All right. Okay, he actually gets away from that one. Nicely done. Here's that wall. And Matrix took the left-hand side, and Fearless is TP'd forward. The Symmetra wall is great. Fearless is very wary about pushing past it here, but Doha's been picked off. Hawk's mech, and he can't get back in. He's removed despite the self-destruct having been activated, but the Dallas Fuel are on the attacker side of the point now. They've got to make their way back, and Sparkle tries to do that expeditiously, no less. The teleport sends him on a collision course with Masa.
And if things get any more dangerous, they do have this sound barrier to use, but Dallas looks like they're in a good spot. Oh, Kai uses the TP.
They read it.
Yeah, and they take him out right away.
Like an absolute book. Kai picked off there, Jex's sound barrier. Can he get a good use out of this? Okay, the Blizzard's going to be tough for Hanbin. He's going to go for a self-destruct, and he might even be able to get the mech back. Oh, the beat is perfectly timed from Jexa in the end. Maywall thrown up, though, as the Atlanta Reign fancy a bit of privacy on the point, but Dallas, they're gregarious. They want to get back involved, back in the fight. And it's Gator being picked off. There's no Reinhardt in play right now, and crucially, Iris went down.
You saw how low there that Doha got. He was actually taking some sim shots, some secondary fires through the amp matrix from Kai at a distance. Had to be so careful, but Atlanta relying on the shatter coming up here from Gator. We'll see if he can land a big one, because really nothing on either team outside of this.
No support odds for Atlanta. That is brutal, particularly in their case now with 1 minute left to go. A furrowed brow here for Kai as the Reign try and find a weakness. Point of entry. Okay, Maywall comes up here. Symmetra Wall's also in play. It's going to be Hanbin caught. Can the Fuel intervene? No. Hawk sends him straight off the edge of the map. Gator gets an immortality field. That was a little bit early, perhaps. Let's see the follow-up. It's Sparkle that burns Gator down, but the Reign have the numbers and they're making it look good. Jex is going to be able to get away from the Blizzard for the time being, but the Reign have the numbers on the point, and he just gets caught mid-air by Pelican. And that will be point A taken. Not easy at all for Atlanta, but now their win condition is set.
Still, though, you know, Dallas holds on to where it's below 30 seconds. Good defense here from Dallas as Gator lands a shatter. Hawk with a nice use to the D-Mech. Just knocking Hanbin off the side. That's why I was saying, man, these divas with the environmental kills. We've seen a few of them now throughout the playoffs. So this is going to be scary for Dallas. Just the amp matrix here to work with.
So they have the Symmetra still, of course, in the main. So TP to relocate if they need to. I'm not sure who they'd send across there. Maybe Iris. The Arena going to TP point. Yeah. The old-fashioned way. Keep it simple. Remember, only need 44.5%. Excuse me. Hanbin's going to be desuited already. An amplification matrix here from the Dallas Fuel, but that sim wall just shuts it all down. This is looking pretty primo from the Atlanta Reign now, man.
Yeah, big ultimate advantage going into that fight there. And they do a nice job. They TP directly to the point. What do the Dallas Fuel have to work with? An amp matrix. Kai drops the sim wall, splits off any of that. Players have to walk on to the point, and Atlanta able to take advantage.
Well, the Atlanta Reign get their objective here. They choose Hanamura knowing they're probably favored to win that kind of map. A lot of craziness with Symmetra turrets. And the Dallas Fuel just run out of gas there on point A.
I'm really interested in where Dallas decides to go for Hybrid coming up next. Like, do you want to take this to Kings Row against a team like Atlanta? Or do we see them go with something like a Nimbani or an Eichenwald? There are a few options here for the Dallas Fuel.
Stick around, everybody. This one is just starting to heat up. It's one apiece here in this lower bracket final between the Reign and the Fuel. You'd be out of your mind to be anywhere else.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Go to takemetomanoa.org today.
we are dropping some serious loot for Grand Finals this year. Be sure to tune into the Watchpoint pre-show on September 25th. That's tomorrow. It's tomorrow, all right? Tomorrow at 4:45 p.m. Pacific to earn the exclusive Grand Final spray, which I believe is done by Sen. Fantastic artist. Her work is really, really cool. 6 Overwatch League skins and 100 League tokens. That's a loot, but I think Carl Carlson would definitely encourage you guys to get involved in that.
Yeah, he would. He would definitely say this is a good deal.
Selling you Persian rugs at clearance prices, and of course some great loot for the final. I mean, you all want to tune in anyway because we got some sick Overwatch 2 news to show you, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's going to be incredibly exciting, incredibly fun for tomorrow. So I was wondering before we went to break what hybrid map the Dallas Fuel would select. They actually have decided to go to Kings Row. So this is one where I was wondering, I was like, do they opt to play this versus Atlanta? We had just seen Atlanta play it versus the Shock. This is a map that you can play a lot of Reinhardt, a lot of Rush, but Dallas Fuel feels like that composition is working for them right now. Maybe that's what they want to keep playing here against Atlanta.
It was still a close affair on Hanamura. No two ways about it. Again, with the May and the Symmetra, these fights can become extremely volatile, and as well drilled as the Atlanta Reign and the Dallas Fuel respectively are at this composition, sometimes you can't control every variable in fights when they break down to that level. It comes to an individual and an instinctive way of trying to win those fights. Kings Row. I mean, we might honestly get a map pool that favors both of these teams regardless of the pick here.
Look, if Dallas is this content with playing pretty much mirror matchup style against Atlanta, you may end up with some interesting map selections throughout this. This is a different look, though. Dallas potentially on defense, going to go with the Wrecking Ball composition Tracer Sombra with the Zen Break. So it's the first time we've seen like the compositions really vary in terms of one team wanting to play an aggressive style of like dive versus the other team who may opt for a rush.
All right. I mean, this is maybe a similar idea as what we see on Volskaya nowadays, right? Where teams fancy a Wrecking Ball on defense because it lets them stall, and maybe this more mobile composition can get back into the fight a little quicker. One thing's for sure, no Baptiste to jump up into Kai's side, so that you best believe he's looking. Oh, he's looking. Come on, bro, please, just one more, man. This is my Masters promo game, bro. Nothing.
So I think this will be very interesting of what Atlanta goes to now. Let's see. So Hangzhou Torb. Okay. So Hangzhou Torb with the Orisa set up. So this is very anti-dive. I'm curious to see how this works, right? Because this would even kind of give you some indication on how Atlanta would play potentially for Shanghai. If Atlanta were to win this and Shanghai's watching, right?
I mean, this has got to be really positional now, right? Kai has good sightlines. There's no shield outside of Jex's to stop him. I think the Dallas Fuel have to outmaneuver if they're going to win here. It's a tough ask.
Well, I was going to say, so Dallas Fuel, if you play this competition to perfection, probably has the advantage. The thing I say there is you have to play it pretty perfectly or else Atlanta's going to take advantage of it.
Doesn't it mean they have a disadvantage if they can only win by doing it perfectly?
I mean, yes, I guess in a way. I think, though, there's like multiple ways you can attack that if you're the Dallas Fuel, though, right? Multiple ways to go about it. I also think Dallas is a little bit more reliant on the ultimates to win some of these fights against this type of comp than Atlanta is, right? You need the minefield, EMP, spread people out. So Deciso, yeah, so he yanks the supports. I mean, that is, you have zero chance of winning a fight if that happens, so.
So no changes, though, here outside of the Doomfist. Okay, so no Tracer, which is fair, because there's a Torb you want to deal with. So Sparkle on the Doom. Not many DPS players bust this out at times like this. It feels, not sure if that was on purpose. Either way, no harm, no foul. Oh, okay, that wasn't on purpose either. He's got to go for the adaptive shield and the minefield he throws down. Okay, Muscle's caught amidst that field, and Hawk actually loses his mech to it, so it ends up being pretty darn effective in the end.
It didn't look like a great one, but I believe some players actually get knocked into it for Atlanta, but Atlanta's still moving the cart. You have Iris still here with his immortality field, Gator and Pelican as well. It's going to be tough to dislodge these players.
You have to wonder, how things could have been maybe if Dallas had an earlier switch back to something more like what Atlanta are playing.
One thing you know if you're Atlanta, you're not going to get a mirror matchup in something like this, right? You're not gonna see Dallas bring out the Orisa. They're going to opt for something else.
They did it once. They did it once in like the June Joust on Havana, I think. And Sparkle's playing Genji, but no, you're right. Oh, they're not going to do it. Okay, 5 players hit with that EMP though, so even though Doha goes down, it's a job done. There's more work to be done. It's a 5v5 right now. The Dragon Strike comes through, but it was Hanbin with the real fireworks as Irish and Gator fall.
So Dallas gets a hold. They needed to use that EMP and Transcendence to do it. So some big ultimates used to get that hold. Can you? This will be a test for Atlanta. You know, when you're the team with this composition that is stationary, that is allowing the players coming to you, it's a little bit easier to play versus this. How did they deal now going into the Dallas Fuel comp?
My guy threw the U-est of turns. All right, the Dallas Fuel, yeah, right. Composition, okay, Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Huh. All right, let's see. They're going to go up to the high ground of the Hoofenhorch. That's the rally from Jexer. So the Fuel are ready to fight him. Whoa, Gator! Yeah, he rolls the dice and he gets the jackpot there, Matt.
And that Molten Core is directly underneath him there, so you can't exactly push it and try and finish him off. Walking into that is...
Gator's shield is low from the mines.
Gator's shield, unfortunately for Gator, is going to be always low in this type of comp.
Nice from Pelican, though. He's managed to get rid of Hanbin after the D. Okay, that is just nuts. Jexer stopped in his tracks from a rivet to the head, and it's going to have to be a Transcendence from Fielder. Meteor strike there from Sparkle, and Kai and Pelican both round on him.
And this is where you kind of miss, potentially, for Dallas Fuel, right? Like, they're not going to pull out a Hanzo, they're not going to pull out like a Cowboy and play a composition like that that's going to punish, the shields. Their options are to play shield compositions themselves or to play aggressive and push past them. They don't really have an option to kind of play that neutral.
Pile driver to the high ground here as Hanbin shepherds everybody with that defense matrix, and ooh, look at this. Has Fielder always been spotted? Must have, surely. EMP catches under 5 players here, but Iris was unaffected. The Immortality Field comes down, but Pelican was not in a position to have this life prolonged. Sparkle's down as well. Iris doing some serious work in that fight. He saved the rain for sure. Shatter. Oh, Hardbit said, beam me up, Scotty. I want none of that. But eventually what goes up must come down. Straight on top of Kai. Hanbin trying to back up now, but there's no burst healing in this Dallas Fuel composition, so it's going to take time for the tanks to be topped up. And that's time that the Rain can use to propel themselves forward. Dallas are going to go for a once more, though. It's going to be a Molten Core dropped on the card. A Dragon Strike also thrown to try and punish Dallas for challenging. Self-destruct gets dropped over the edge and it catches Pelican's turret and nothing more. Look how much space the Fuel are giving. Until now, the mines are out and that's a hacked Reinhardt.
And Dallas wants to end these fights fast with the composition they're running and the healing output that they have. So the longer these fights exist and drag on, the more they have to invest it in terms of ultimates, but also that's better that it gets for Atlanta with the Torbjorn damage, the Hanzo, and the healing output they have.
Really feels cumulative, right, over the course of a fight. Obviously, Iris can have a lot of throughput in a longer engagement. Dallas a shock in awe in the fight early or not at all. Kaya will be denied that. Perch will climb back up in his own time, but Gator's been removed. What a great pick.
Those are the kills they want, right? Where they can go in, burst down Gator, get out.
This is a tough job, trying to run this Ryan against the ball from here.
When they exist for a long time and they do not get those early pickoffs, that's when Atlanta gets the upper hand. For Dallas now, you've got some ultimates, though, to work with, right? You got the Transcendence, you have the EMP specifically. We'll see where Doha tries to set up for this.
Hawk is scouting for the Sombra. Last EMP was a big one from Doha. Dragon Strike, and he translocates away. Okay, Sparkle gets caught by that one, so maybe that's the call, just to get out and wait for one more fight. Or does he stop in their tracks now? Lights out for the Atlanta Rain, but Iris again wasn't affected. He's able to deliver that Immortality Field. It's going to be removed, and the Transcendence buys the Fuel enough time, but again, they want short fights, not drawn out ones, and there is the shatter. Fielder knocked to the ground, and Kai going to make light work of those prone targets. Self-destruct blocked for the most part, but Iris is going to be caught by it. He's at an awkward angle. We're inside of a minute here, but Doha can only stall for a moment, and the Rain get home.
All right, so they do complete the map. I think this poses more questions for what we see Dallas go with on offense. Atlanta can run some of the Orisa, they can run some of the Reinhardt, same compositions. On defense, yet again, Dallas, what do? Do you try and play this wrecking ball look? Is that kind of what you thought you could do on this map, right? Take them to King's Row, maybe play a little bit more aggressive with the wrecking ball and gain an advantage. That didn't seem to work. They had to go to a Doomfist composition. Maybe they try and play something like a center around an Echo here on offense. They have options, right? It's just that I don't know if they're going to try and run this ball comp yet again.
I think Dallas are probably discussing that as well. You know, we know they spent a ton of time in the lead up to these games practicing the stuff that they just didn't feel good on, right?
And this is a come from Atlanta, right? Like I was mentioning for Dallas, they don't have an option of playing something like this, right? They can't play Tracer Cowboy. They just can't do it. But
then we saw Sparkle play Cowboy once, right? Or he duplicated one.
Yeah, we saw mostly when they had to go to hit scan, he was actually playing the 76.
That's right. And that looked kind of good. It really sort of bridged the gap for them. Yeah, unfortunate.
Just a bit unluckers.
Well, look, the Dragon does cut off a lot of those flanking routes.
Maybe he thought he was going to kind of like, clip the edge and get that fast movement around the corner and get away from it, but just maybe miss it by a bit.
Yeah, if Jaws cues us into Doom parkour in ranked, I'd leave. I leave the party.
I mean, I leave as soon as I see Jaws in the party. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Shame you couldn't do that. The talent takedown, huh, buddy?
Oh, I tried.
Okay. We have double bubble from the Dallas Fuel, and Zarya makes her appearance here. Okay, Hardman.
And Doom Hanzo.
Oh, my feelers. That is filthy stuff. He takes a heck of a lot of damage, but he does his job, right? He really throws a spanner in the works here for the Atlanta Reign, and Sparkle's there just to capitalize.
Well, look, and if the shield goes down for Gator or if Defense Matrix is gone, you load up the Storm Arrows and you fire them through that choke, and you're going to hit something. Fearless, he gets blown up fast. I mean, he takes a ton.
And there wasn't even an immortality field, right? He had to. I think it had to be a defensive biotic grenade from Fielder for sure. But I don't know how they kept Fearless alive. That is mind blowing.
Oh, all right. So Dallas with a really good offense here thus far. Atlanta, I wonder if this is what you stay with for an extended period, right? Okay, so they get Sparkle on the entry.
I mean, you have McCree and Tracer to deal with the Doomfist, right? That's pretty nasty.
The only things you're kind of thinking of here is like, could you drop the Lucio for a break potentially, right? I even think you can make an art, like, do you want Pelican to play something like an Echo here, right? Echo would be pretty solid to get into the back line, make an issue for Fielder and Doha.
Are you sure you can't just play Tracer here?
No, you can. I mean, you can definitely play the Tracer. I'm saying if it did not work again, what do you go to?
Oh, the legs. That would also be okay.
Just consistent damage. We've seen teams go to Cowboy and the 76.
All right, Pelly. He's hunting. Whoa, Sparkle just had to walk straight into the enemy there.
Hawk with an... Yep. He got the big blizzard onto Nero, right, that he ate at the end of the shock game. This one with the big dragon now that Doha was trying to set up. And now you don't have the dragon for the grab.
Now, Hawk is metless. There might be an opening here, a window. So here's how that goes down. Immortality field there for Gator. Oh, and the shatter. Insult and injury. Okay, Hawk died, so he didn't get it back into his mech. He was 99% to mech there. There was a window for the Fuel to punish here. Pelican now trying to see what he can do, but really, this fight's over. Okay, buddy.
Is he going to get out?
Little nasty with it.
Yeah, a little clean with it. But they ended up having to use grab there, right? So you got grab out. You didn't have to use your beat if you're Atlanta. So looking at a little bit of a positive from their side. This should be a big fight, though, for Dallas. You have Sound Barrier, Nano. You have Primal here. Meteor Strike. This is a good amount of ultimates to push them over the line.
In goes Sparkle straight away. He's in with the nano boost now just to make sure he can't get picked off on the backside. And it's going to be Gator, the first casualty here. Sparkle tries to line Pelican up with a rocket punch, but he just skitters past him, and Kai lines him up. Bit of clay pigeon shooting now for the Cowboy, and he makes it too. Jexa falls, and the Dallas Fuel are falling over themselves to get out.
Some big kills from Kai there. So every time we've seen him on one of these hit scan heroes, his aim has been as good as advertised, right? I mean, you talk about some of the best aimers I know in the world, I mean, he is up there with the way he shoots.
It's him and Fitz in the league right now, I think, as Cowboy players. But it's the astonishing frequency with which Kai finds these headshots, right? Especially with the changes to hit scan at longer ranges now, you need to hit those heads, and not many teams are taking the risk.
I'm always amazed with his consistency as well. Like, it always seems like, you know, whenever he makes these switches, like, it's not like he kind of comes out with these crazy plays sometimes. He's always hitting, and another time that they're able to get Gator out of the fight early.
Pretty clear to see that they're not really saving the Dragon for the Graviton Surge. It's not a win condition that Dallas are banking on. They just let that one go there, and it kind of does its job. It sections the Atlanta Reign into two.
Push Gator out of the way, right? You're able to jump on him with that Doomfist, make a play. So this should be Dallas being able to get this second checkpoint. Atlanta will stay on this for now. So it seems like Atlanta feels like this composition is good enough to get the job done.
Maybe they're right here. Hawk's been doing a very good job of shutting down some of these key ultimates, and there's a Graviton Surge on the horizon. I mean, that's a headshot on a Lucio. Really very difficult to do at that range.
That's far as well.
Yeah.
Man, that is...
Dallas have nothing that approximates
that kills any type of momentum, though. I mean, Dallas now will play, you know, Ryan Zarya here.
Pelican is looking for the respawn right now. The Lucio to come back. Gator with a bionic grenade, though. What a sleep. That's a big one. Kai could still be an issue here. But the rest of the Reign have been run out of town for sure. Their Lawman, not enough to keep minute.
All right, so they nano Fearless, and look at he's able to build up to a Shatter right away.
Grab Shatter, Sound Barrier, Dragon.
This is looking really good for the Dallas Fuel. So Pelican goes over to Hangzhou here. So it looked like he was going to play the May for a second, but they'll play Hangzhou and the Cowboy.
Off we go. Hamir, he just lets that go. It's scary stuff, but it connects. And that's going to be 2 kills with the Dragon Strike. Fearless is going to keep the shield up. He stands steadfast as Gator tries to get in his face. Doha, 3 kills and a DMEC for this fight, and that still might not do the job. Gator still stands, and he's a pain, but that's beautiful stuff. The headshot on Hawk to take him down, and now Pelican hastily trying to take the higher ground. But Doha's trying to get this bus home.
Pelican's been behind them on the high ground, just doing so much damage. And he's able to pick up enough kills, and the other players on Atlanta able to withstand enough to stay alive. Oh yeah, for sure.
Unbelievable. Some incredible Hangzhou play from both sides here. The Fuel need a little more than that to end the map, though.
Beat for both sides. Shatter here available from Fearless. Can you get like the Shatter off and maybe get a Sound Barrier out early before you have to? You're also going to have the Nano here from Fielder, which should be huge.
It is going to take a play to be made here. Dragon Strike, Dallas respect this. They just want to finish the map with some time at this stage. They need to have some time. That's the Nano on the Fearless. Look at him charge forward. Gator needs the Immortality field straight away. So Fearless says, job done. We force these huge support cooldowns. The Shatter is wayward. Doesn't connect with any targets, but Fearless is just trying to get within striking distance. Sparkle not sure where to throw the Meteor Strike, and Gator is the target. The punch is good. He's not quite knocked off the edge, but the Dragon Strike comes through and cleans Master up. Where's the Cowboy? Kai trying to hide behind, but Harmon is a little too sharp. He catches him with the defense matrix, and a paltry 9 seconds separates the two teams.
Yeah, and there, Hawk tried to make a play. He actually goes past everybody on Dallas, almost kind of like gives up a few of his teammates and tries to go for Fielder. He gets the kill on the Fielder, and I think the logic there is like, well, I'm not going to be able to save any of my teammates. If I let the Ana just heal at range, we're going to lose no matter what. If I double back, kill the Ana, maybe I can make it back to the card. He actually gets DMAC'd, or else he probably would have made it back to the card, but he tries to make it back, not able to do so because you would have had like a Moira coming off spawn. Maybe there's enough without the Ana in play for Dallas to keep that going, but nice push there from Dallas to get that over the line.
I am curious to see how Dallas play this, especially on their defense, but the Atlanta Reign, we expect no changes, right? This really hostile, anti-sort of dive composition. Here's Doha. This is that sick fight that he had that wasn't quite enough. So Dragon gets thrown in there. I mean, it's just a it's a grab for the ages.
He kills the High Noon.
Yeah, the Cowboys trying to High Noon over there. So yeah. But at this level, even all this kills Hawk.
Yeah.
Not enough to win the fight. Pelican doing much the same job elsewhere.
Being a nuisance.
And he gets forced out of position there, and then he still goes and kills another player. Okay. What do we got, Matt?
So Dallas opts to play the May composition with the Reinhardt. This gives them probably the best chance throughout an extended period of the match, right? Where they won't have to switch off if they take this point, right? They can kind of play this the entire map if they would like.
Pelican trying to get cute there through the Alderworth Hotel, the flank, but that's a wall come up. Doha needs to do some freezing, he needs to follow up, but that's a great pincer. But the Immortality Field is in just the right place. It keeps Kai alive, and he's able to backtrack here on the Cowboy and dish his special brand of death.
They get aggressive onto the Dallas Fuel. Atlanta knows in like the short bites they have, you know, when the Sim's not able to ramp up, and the May is really trying to primarily freeze, there's not a ton of damage, right? That's when the Torb with the Overload in the McCree can have an advantage.
There's an Air Matrix here.
Already for Iris.
Yeah.
That is fast.
Data going to look for an insta-kill with a Fire Strike here, but Dallas are inside the hotel. It's Jexa down first. Though Kai with the amp damage through the Matrix is able to get rid of the Lucio. A perfect start for the Atlanta Reign, and now it's time to stick the landing. Fearless is removed, and that amplification Matrix, Matt, did so much. Not only the Lucio kills, it's also a DMEC on Hanbin. Then Kai gets rid of Fearless. Iris had such a sick first fight, and they snowballed it.
Now if you're Dallas, what do you do on defense? You decided on the first defense to come out and play the ball type stuff, right, with Tracer Sombra. Do you want to try and play that again? I imagine Atlanta would go back and just play the Orisa composition with the Cowboy and the Torb. If you come out on the Rhine, I think Atlanta feels pretty good if you do that as well. I think this is, like Josh mentioned, and I think it's been so interesting through these playoffs, more than any other season in the Overwatch League. It's like teams have distinct styles, and there's no one clear-cut style that wins out over the other. It seems like you kind of have to play a little bit of a mishmash of everything, where you have, when you make these map selections, these like stylistic differences between these teams, and just kind of forces you into odd situations. And really a game like this, right, is just a game of guess, where Dallas Fuel comes out with this composition here at the start. Atlanta has many options to take advantage of it.
And this is where it all begins, right? Kai makes
his aim is too good to try and do that.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff. It's exactly what the Reign needed at that moment. So Dallas here are playing the safer look, right? Not taking any chances.
Mind you, this is a Dallas map pick. This be a huge win here for Atlanta.
I will shape.
I think they're seeing what they're gonna run, and maybe there's some switch ups. No, they're just gonna go with it.
It's the mirror. It's a throwback to Hanamura
and Li Zhang, right? This seems to be like kind of what this series is starting to coalesce around, right? This Reinhardt Sim May look.
I'm not trying to use any crazy TPs yet. Dallas have taken the low ground to a degree, and Doha needs to be careful. He can get beamed. He's too far forward to the right shield. He got out of position. I'm not going to repeat what he just said. I know enough Korean to know what that was. He realizes he's made a pretty crucial mistake there. And look at this. The Reign want to go forward. They want to punish this now, Matt. They're a stone's throw away from winning this map. It's Dallas's map pick. They're going to be taking this to match point. If the Dallas Fuel can't hang on, Harmon is desuited straight into the beam. But Jexa finds his second kill. He gets rid of Gator after removing the Hawk.
And Sparkle's back on the Doom. Oh no, and it's Doha back on the Doom. Is Sparkle, he has this sim wall. You're going to have one from Kai as well.
Two sim walls on the point. This is about to get extremely dicey. Teleport in the back, but Sparkle turns his head as just a bait.
They get
one tick is all that the Reign need on the point. The Fuel had to push up quickly. It's an Immortality Field now, but Fearless, that's run out. Sparkle's going to get hit by the Shadow, but there's a sound barrier in play, and Pelican's Blizzard is eaten up. That could be devastating. Fearless is brought down finally, though, and it's Sparkle to drop. The Immortality Field prolongs Gator's life, but here comes the Doom once more. Gator knocked up. Doha takes him down from the sky, but it's not enough. The Atlanta Reign are reading the riot act to the Dallas Fuel. They win on their map pick. They set up match point.
Atlanta is one map away from running the loser bracket all the way to the grand finals. And this is a team that, even coming into the season, like, we were not talking about being in this position. We weren't even probably talking about being in the previous match they were in against the Shock. And they have performed excellently, taking the Dallas Fuel now to match point.
Dallas now definitely reeling after that one. At least they get themselves another map pick here. It will be an escort map to select from, but that is a heavy blow they've been dealt by the Atlanta Reign. Dallas trying a couple different looks. Maybe it's time to just knuckle down on one of those compositions and make it work. Stick around, everybody. This series is insane.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
They were the gatekeepers, Matt, for the longest time. A team that did well against half of the league, but struggled to raise above their station. But that crown, they've been eyeing it off for a long time, and now they've decided it's time to reach out and grab it.
Yeah, you know, they have a an interesting vibe about them in Atlanta. Just as a team, just like with the players, it's something I kind of think back to, and I can kind of relate to, is where you're a team that you don't really care for the other teams particularly. Yeah, it's really for Atlanta, it's not them versus Dallas. Atlanta probably feels like it's them versus the rest of the league. A lot of people kind of look at Atlanta as like a good team, right? But Pelican, right, gets Rookie of the Year, but none of the players get recognition for Role Stars. They've had a tremendous season. That every match they get is just a little bit of an opportunity to stick it to the rest of the league about where they think they're at as a team. And it's also that they're not going to surprise you. They're going to do what they're going to do, and you have to stop it and play against it. And everybody knows it's coming. Everybody knows what we're going to see, right? And teams still can't seem to do it.
That chip on their shoulder pales in comparison to the dent they put in Dallas in the last 2 maps.
Well, I think I saw Scott say Custa on Twitter, and I completely agree. I'm a little bit confused by the map pick of Kings Row for Dallas. You had Ike involved in Mbani, 2 maps, so you could have forced some really nice Winston-based compositions, verticality, right? Stuff that really
Dallas
bothers.
play Ike involved. They played Winston. They looked really good on it.
Stuff that really bothers, like rush-style compositions. Dorado here is a map that is kind of like that, right? Verticality, you can play some Winston. We saw Dallas try to play Genji against Shanghai on this. You just have to wonder, are some of these adjustments going to happen too late for Dallas, right? Because you will end up with another control map, right? We already saw Lijiang Tower. So, like, if Atlanta were to pick that, you have an option to go to, like, a map like Ilios, right?
Yeah.
Where it could be pretty bad for Dallas.
This wasn't a good map against Shanghai at all for Dallas.
No.
Atrocious, actually.
That is Shanghai. Shanghai seems to be on a crazy level right now. So,
but listen, I don't know. The cards are falling in the right spot here for the Atlanta Reign because, this is their best map type against Dallas. In fact, it's one of their best in general. 5-1 though against this team. That's, all through the season, Dallas were really strong at some points through the season. They're still dropping these escort maps to the Reign. I'd be worried.
And we've, obviously with Atlanta on offense, still some time to make some changes. So Dallas looks like they're going to play, which is so odd because this is a composition Dallas is playing right now. You could have played on an Ike involved. You could have played this on an Mbani, right? Which, probably would have given them a slight advantage. We'll see what Atlanta decides to do. I'm really interested. Do you see them play this? Because this is a new look for them, right? They weren't playing a ton of ball during the season. Is it something they decide to roll with? Sparkle's got to be so careful.
Kai with the early widow again. He's going to have to make the switch now. It's not too late for Dallas to reverse this situation at all. Let's be very clear about that. This is a composition that we'd like for them a lot.
I think, if Atlanta makes this work, I think it's really telling on where they're at as a team because this is not a team that would strike you as a wrecking ball type of team.
Right. So many teams are playing it to break the close hold, right? Not ideal for Sparkle there. He gets a little too low. Pelican trying to go for Doha by the looks of things. He's able to get out and Harbin's removed. So the Rangers put their nose to the grindstones here on this first point, and Hawk actually reveals the Sombra there.
Yeah, I know about Fearless already with the benefits of a nano boost.
It's a bionic grenade from Fielder that sets it up in a huge way. Iris have nowhere to go. Fearless has found both supports now, and he's far from done. He's looking for Kai. The Diva's in. Oh! That wasn't to plan at all!
Kai actually gets, Kai and Pelican get both supports here for Dallas, so both supports gone for the Dallas Fuel. Fearless going to have to come back from the spawn.
He got body blocked. He couldn't see because the Diva mech in front of him, and I think Fearless just DI'd in the wrong direction. Look on his face said it all, though, that's for sure. You'll need to unboon themselves if they can, but Kai's found the pulse bomb, and this is the snowball that they suffered against the Dragons. They need to stabilize somehow. Doha's EMP is pretty darn good, but there's not enough follow-up, and this is getting disastrous.
Yeah, and you had the nano use here by Iris, and that's going to be a duplicate here for Pelican. This is looking good for the Atlanta Reign on this first point.
Self-destructed by a little bit of time here, but Iris beats Spark on the 1v1. The Dallas Fuel are losing control of this series, and the Atlanta Reign get that first checkpoint. It's a duplicated Winston for Pelican to secure. We might have a switch there as well.
It looks like, okay, so he's going to play the Sombra. So They'll stall out Hanbin for a bit. And this is so interesting because the ball is not a composition that the Atlanta Reign ran a lot during the season. It's something they clearly had worked on within the few weeks coming in here. And look at this. I mean, they're going to play it with the Zen in the mix as well.
Okay, Atlanta. Again, this is the kind of thing we saw from Shanghai, the kind of thing that Dallas don't seem to prefer at all. Sparkle has that duplicate on deck, and Jex has just gotten his rally. Master uses his first, though, and Fearless has gone in with a Primal Rage. Gator, he's hacked. Beamed, dead. Okay, Sombra duplicate. Chance to build an EMP here if there's enough damage. He won't need to do that with Master and Iris out of the picture. Dallas have found a way back in, but they've used almost everything, Matt.
Yeah, he had to use the duplicate because he was so low. Just pretty much to save himself. But Dallas will end up having their Nano for this next fight. You'll be able to Nano Fearless. You'll probably be able to farm off an EMP. Cart will continue to move, though.
Pelican just missing out on Hanbin there. He had enough upward momentum to get himself on the barrier.
But he makes it up top, yeah.
Okay, here's a Wrecking Ball in. Fearless is in trouble. Can he get away? Nice moves. Sparkle's able to trade here, but he gives up his life in order to get Master. Well, it's unclear if that's really going to be worth it now with the Transcendence in play from Iris and Hawk. Styles on Hanbin with the remake. Kai can deal with this. He recalls away as Fearless jumps on out.
Atlanta will continue to push the cart. They don't have a ton of ultimates left here, but this stagger might be enough, right? You get rid of Fielder. It's going to take a bit for him to come back. Doha with this EMP should be massive, though.
His last one was really rushed. There was no follow-up. Now, he'll be able to EMP into a fight where ideally Dallas will all be present. Hanbin's hacked straight away, but he's able to stall. He's taking a lot of damage, though. They can't heal him. They've lost the Demon Mech straight away.
With the EMP.
That's not good enough. Manual hack on Gator. Looks like a sleep dart was there as well. So getting the Wrecking Ball here would be excellent. But it's still going to take more than that. Fearless is wondering where his teammates are. They're busy trying to stall the card. There's a disconnect right now between Dallas. They're confused.
And it's going to be Hanbin using the self-destruct, getting a new mech. That's a huge kill there on Iris. He's a large source of the damage. You're going to get Masa out of this as well.
Talk about taking things in your own hands there. Absolute pandemonium for the Dallas Fuel as Fearless was well and truly out of position.
Look at this, though, Mitch. Dallas is actually going to go to Rhine. Did they stay on this? They're going to play the Rhine. And with this, you're going to have EMP minefield here for Atlanta. I wonder if this Reinhardt was just like a late second switch. Yeah, Fearless back to the Winston.
Maybe even for the charge to get them back to the point in time. Okay, so Nano Boost is on deck here for Fielder. Pelican could end this before it even begins. He's looking for those supports right now. All Fearless. Yep, defensive EMP. Fearless caught by that one. But he's going to get Nano Boosted. That's going to help him survive this, but not much else. Kai has a Pulse Bomb here. He's going to throw that at the windowsill, though. It doesn't connect with Hanbin. Oh, no! The Dallas Fuel step off the card. And that's a cheeky little backcap for the Atlanta Reign to set up the final stanza of this map.
So what was interesting is Gator actually uses the minefield up on the high ground over on like the left-hand side, let's say, when you're attacking. And that forces the players, what he wants them to do is obviously drop down and go into the EMP. They actually wrap further on the bridge and go all the way around and up the top here. So you see where they're playing from. And Hanbin gets hacked. And at that point, there's nobody else who can even take that fight.
I mean, there's no guarantee Atlanta win that fight at all. They've done very well to get the card across the line there. These manual hacks from Pelican. Starting to remind me of Lip a little here. Doha Obster... That's not it. Okay. Ops to reveal himself there, and it's unclear why. Maybe hoping to just go into an EMP or force something like a shield bash. Either way.
Oh, they have Jexa so low.
Pulse from Kai. It connects. It wasn't a stick, but Jexa moves back into it. It's all going wrong for the Dallas Fuel now. And there's almost a sense of fate about this one. Maybe in the stars it's written Atlanta are supposed to take this away. Dallas now need to subvert that reality.
EMP for Pelican if he gets this off early.
Doha goes first. He catches Pelican with it, but there's going to be a Transcendence in play to keep Pelican alive, and he'll be able to crack back. But Master falls. It's going to be a 5-player squad for the Reign to follow up on this EMP if it comes out. Instead, it's going to be Gator's Mines. Those don't get him any value, though, and it looks like the Reign are going to have to reset.
Yes, Atlanta decides to back out here. Hawk not in mech. This is going to be brutal. He's going to have to try and jump off the side here.
He can do that. And he will.
Yeah, it's just going to buy so much time here for Dallas. Just really nice patience letting that happen, because now you're going to have to wait another, like, what, 8-9 seconds? You're going to get really only one last shot here. Yeah. Gator's got to be careful.
Oh, they're going to hack on Sparkle as he tries to chase. He's in trouble. Can he recall? No, he can't. Oh, it's a crucial overextension there for the Dallas Fuel, man.
Trying to make a play. Does not work out. Rally available for Atlanta. This EMP from Pelican's got to be good.
Fearless on the high ground, drops down inside the bubble, and the EMP hits 4. Fearless is stunned up, and he's taken down immediately. There is a rally in play for Jexa, but it's going to take a heck of a lot more than that. Manual hack on the Kai, but he still has the protection of Hawk's mech. Hanbin leaves his to go for the self-destruct, and he has that return to him. We're coming into the last fight now, and the Atlanta Reign are awfully close to finishing the map. The Fuel only have a couple players to work with here. Valiantly, Hanbin trying to keep this going, but he's hacked. The self-destruct is dodged by Fearless, but he's knocked off the card. Here comes Doha, the next up to the plate. He's so close to an EMP, he can smell it, but it's taken away from him. The rug pulled out from under him at the last moments. Jexa can barely touch here, and Fielder does no better. Recall has to be used by Sparkle to keep this alive, but eventually the Fuel succumb.
It's huge for Atlanta to get the map completion. No time in the time bank, but still it puts a ton of pressure on Dallas, that Dallas knows to extend their season, they have to finish the map. That just puts a large target in sight that they know is going to be difficult to achieve here. It's Atlanta. Now being the team that goes first here, right? You do have some options now knowing the goal line. You have multiple ways you can decide to play with. You can play close up here at the cart, right, and just try and play for maybe thinking, hey, no, we have a great composition that we're going to go towards that third part of the map or the second part of the map. Let's play something at the start that is strictly to burn clock. We just want to sit on the cart, burn clock, play as long as possible. And it looks like Atlanta, they're going to come out with this yet again. So the break with the Zen, and the Tracer Sombra. This is a composition coming into the playoffs. A lot of people would say Atlanta Reign could not play this. That this would not be a composition that is their strength or something they could really do. But they looked really strong on it here against Dallas. We've seen them also run it against some other teams in the playoffs, and it's looked good as well.
I mean, Dallas don't look nearly as comfortable at all. You know, if they switch to the Reign at some point, they're trying to make this Winston comp happen. Look at that, 99. Now, whether it would have made a huge difference or not is unclear. This is Kai in those overtime moments, and he's just harassing. He just wants to go out from long range.
I mean, there's nobody dealing with him, right? Once that, the break bash comes through, they don't finish him off. Nothing else after that. So Dallas, they do not want to play this ball comp. They want to play with that Winston, which makes the King's Row pick even weirder, because if they wanted to play these Winston comps, they could have had an opportunity to do so on another map.
Masa is hacked here. Pelican doesn't quite find the manual on Hanbin, who's able to heal himself up. It's Sparkle a little low on the stairs, and Doha gets found out by Pelican, but he's a little too cagey. Doesn't want to hang around and try and secure Sombra on Sombra elimination.
Oh, they get a hack on the Gator, though, and finish him off, so that's big. It's a lot of the stall that you would have had for the cart. Nice biotic grenade there from Fielder. Connects with a few, so you're going to be able to get some cleanups here. So good first fight for the Dallas Fuel.
This is Doha's time. The Dallas Fuel's chances of winning this map rest so heavily on him against this Wrecking Ball comp. If he's going to shut down Gator, shut down Iris, he has to be playing the best game he's ever played.
They need it. They need somebody to turn up big time here. It's Fielder. He's got a nano. This will be on a Fearless.
Okay, manual hack on Hanbin there. So Fearless is going to be diving alone. Doesn't need any help though with the nano boost. He's already juiced to the gills, Matt.
Yeah, the rest of the Atlanta Reign, they kind of give up the supports in the back, but they're not picking up any kills on the cart. Stalling a little bit, so it'll be Dallas Fuel with a bit of a speed run there to that first checkpoint. And now for Dallas, you have a lot of good ultimates. You didn't really have to spend that much, right? You just ended up using the nano there to be able to take it, so you do have some ultimates to work with here.
We mentioned the Fuel have been able to go to another level in this playoffs, right, with how they've adopted some new compositions. That's just for Gator. Just for Gator. Hanbin has to follow it up on his own now because the EMP hits the rest of the Fuel, but Feeler gets 2 kills. Unbelievable stuff here. And Fearless doubles back to help him out. Now, they don't get Gator yet, but they go back for him after.
You can feel the momentum just building for the Dallas Fuel here, where if you're an Atlanta Reign fan, you need something to go your direction right now. Yeah, the EMP comes through from Pelican, but there's just too much already been done. You need a big play here if you're Atlanta.
Pelican trying to stall
this
here.
Might be it, yeah.
Dallas are pushed up. They're trying to take a fight, but the cart's getting stalled. This does mean that the Atlanta Reign get cut in half, essentially. That's a stick. Self-destruct here from Hawk as he gets his mech back.
They killed Doha on the cart, so the cart's no longer moving.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas need to make a decision. They need to make it fast. Going back to the cart seems to be the best play, and they do so, but Fielder's a little far forward.
So this is big from the sense that the Atlanta Reign gained a lot of the position. It looked like they were going to have to give up by dying early on the high
They stopped
ground.
the snowball.
Yeah.
They've averted it entirely, Matt. Such clever play from them. Fearless is hacked, by the way.
No
Sat in the
primal.
middle of a minefield. Okay, he's going to be able to stay safe, though. They're going to play inside. That's definitely where Fielder is very scary to deal with. Recall the high ground, and Pelican is being harassed. Oh, the shield bash is great from Jexa. It's not quite enough though to catch Pelican, but he doesn't have a translocator available.
That's a big pile driver.
Transcendence is forced by Iris. He needs to bring that out to keep his Sombra alive so this EMP can come down. Fearless is hit with a Discord Orb right now, but he's being topped up by Fielder as we speak. Sparkle got their Discord after that. He's not so lucky.
Yeah, it's just can they keep everybody else alive? So much damage coming down. Hawk with the first kill on the Sparkle, and then being able to take out Fearless, but see how weak he's getting. Doesn't have much of the defense matrix, has to go up to charge it back up yet again.
Yeah, playing the off angle there looked pretty good, and getting the kill on Fearless is definitely crucial, but he had to double back. The Reign have to be careful here, not to let this get away from them. The Fuel left the card again, Matthew.
Yeah, they're trying to get some type of position up.
Hawk's done. No chance for, to get back in that mech at all. Gator's going to be forced away now. The EMP. It's just the tanks. Dallas realized that's where they need to aim to shut the Reign down.
Are they close enough to get the cart over the line from where they're at now, though?
Fielder, oh no! Yep, the body grenade's not enough to keep him alive. Fielder got a little bit ahead of himself.
You can definitely challenge now, I think, if you're Atlanta. They lost their Ana. You see Kai getting on there to contest. They're going to have to pop rally just to try and stay in it.
Iris and Hawk just took Sparkle down. It was mostly the Zen, if I'm honest with you, when he built the Transcendence with that kill. What a huge momentum shift coming up here for the Atlanta Reign. The Dallas Fuel are stopped short of that second checkpoint.
You may look at that kill from Kai onto Fielder as the one that saves this for Atlanta Reign. That kill is massive there. Fielder has the nano boost. That kill also forces them to try and use the rally to extend that, so you don't have rally now. And with 1:40 on the clock, you have an EMP. You're going to have a rally of your own if you're Atlanta. You can put Dallas in one-fight territory.
Pelican slaps! That's huge! He's not able to get away. No translocate, but somehow Kai, he's able to repeat the same on the other side of the map. Pelican looked like he clapped there because he realized that he got saved to a degree. Cart will encroach.
Well, he has an insane respawn advantage, right?
There's a nano here. Fearless does get it. Doesn't quite stick the jump. He needs to be careful of the whip shot, and now he's found himself the Zen. Iris tries to elude him, but those flying fists of fury won't be denied. Kai down now. Master's going to be knocked off the map if he's not careful now. That's exactly where Fearless is headed after the Brig. And Gator's brought down. Dallas have a real shot of having some time to work with, but either way, this is going to the wire.
Hey there.
Dallas will get that second checkpoint, 2:20 on the clock. If you're Atlanta, what you probably have to be kind of considering here is you have to know that Dallas has this EMP. Can you force a fight early to the point, right, where if you can force a fight in the next like 10, 15 seconds, you get this EMP out, you're in a position where you probably don't have to see it again at the end of the game.
EMP there, Kai can't get away. He's in a bit of danger, but Pelican's able to trade. Able to find a kill on Doha at the very least here in the Fuel. Yeah, they want to push up as much as they can. Great protection for Fielder from Hanbin there. Jexa wasn't afforded that same courtesy.
Right, but the cart's not moving. You have the two players from Atlanta, the damage dealers, who are picking up kills onto the payload. Now the payload will start to move, but like I mentioned, you probably don't have to see this EMP again. You might see it like very late at the end of the game, but you probably weather that storm from the Sombra. You come back now, you have your own Transcendence, your own EMP minefield, and only a 1:20 on the clock. So although it's a fight lost for Atlanta, they kind of accomplished their job of getting out that big ultimate.
Definitely not a high-value EMP. Here's the minefield. Gator throws it in, but he's hacked. He's going to have to try and trundle away, but he has the adaptive shielding. He'll be just fine. 1 minute remains. Dallas must finish the map. EMP catches Jexa. Fearless also. Here comes a bomb thrown in. No one's affected by that, and Fielder's going to be kept alive somehow. It's a Transcendence now from Iris thrown in, but Master He gets hit with the pulse bomb there, and Pelican doesn't look like he's in a safe spot to intervene. Iris and Master are both down now, and the Fuel have gotten the supports out of the equation. Now to deal with Gator, and they'll have a crack at finishing this map, but it will go awfully close.
They're going to have a shot to finish it. 30 seconds on the clock. You have the Primal, and you're going to end up getting this EMP back right at the final second. Moss is going to have the rally.
Pelican tried to go for a manual hack there. It didn't connect. Doha had to get out, though.
A manual hack on Hanbin.
Doha has an EMP. In we go. It catches on to 5 people. That might be just the ticket, but Dallas has split their attention. There's no one target. They're focusing down. They get rid of Virus, and that is crucial.
They kill Fielder.
He's gone. That's the lion's share of the healing for the Dallas Fuel now out of the equation. There's a minefield on the card, and Doha can't get close. He's going to be run down. He can't escape. Sparkle's there with a pulse bomb, but it doesn't look like there's a connection to Pelican. He flicks the lights out. Gator takes down Doha, and it's Jexa running into the minefield. The Dallas Fuel are brought to their knees in these final moments. Fielder trying to stay alive. It's a boot kill. Sparkle's there to fight one of his own as well, but there's nobody left. It's going to be Fielder again, trying to slurp on the card as Fearless steps up, but he's hacked on the way there. A pulse bomb will end his life, and it's just Doha all on his own to try and keep the dream alive. But the Atlanta Reign, they're going to do this. Doha falls, and the Kings have been slain. A new king reigns in the West.
Atlanta with a run back through losers. They lose to Chengdu early on in winter bracket, and they make the run all the way where they will play against the Shanghai Dragons. And it kind of played out a little bit like we were thinking. They did a nice job burning enough clock, Atlanta, to get in this type of situation. And in this type of situation, over time, when your spawn is right there and they're like kind of dwindling on ultimates, like you're going to be able to do like stuff like switch to the Moira coming out of the spawn and other types of things to just keep this going to eventually thinking you're going to come out on top. And Dallas, obviously a very disappointing loss with how they played this season, but they're just a tremendous year all around from the Dallas Fuel and their players. They'll definitely be back in this position.
An incredible season, a very decorated team, but they're missing the most important part of the silverware bound for their cabinet. They will not be representing the West in the final. They fall tantalizingly short, and their faces tell the whole story. Devastation for this team at Dallas. Listen, at the very end, they did not look comfortable. If we're looking for the best team in the West to represent that region in the final, it's not this team today.
We are going to get a large clash of styles in this final. That is going to be very, very interesting to see.
The Atlanta Reign, they have done it, and their player of the match here in this lower final presented by Xfinity is going to be going to Iris. It's the Baptiste that's incredible. It is truly criminal that this guy isn't decorated as a role star. What a series from him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I voted for Iris as a role star this year. I thought he was tremendous, one of the best Baptiste that we have in the league.
Sideshow, it's fine.
Yeah, we can just blame Josh. But man, he was tremendous in this series, and I think now you start to see him flex over to the Zen when they play some of these Wrecking Ball different compositions that they pull out, and you really start to see how good he is at the flex support role at time and time again, keeping them alive. Yeah, I mean, he's just an offensive powerhouse, right? When he's on the Baptiste, when he's on the Zen, able to pump out so much damage. He always seems to be in the right position. You're never really talking about Atlanta really burning some of these flex support ults. Really, rock solid on this role.
Yeah, astonishing stuff. Again, sort of really dominating those defensive assists, but we know how aggressive this player is. Over 10k healing per 10 and still being able to be such a offensive threat on the Baptiste. Really incredible stuff. This has been a long day for the Atlanta Reign.
Yeah. And a lot of times when you talk, I watch a ton of fighting where they talk, styles make fights, where I kind of think that's where we're headed towards with this grand finals, where I think Atlanta's proven now that they can do what they do against some of the best teams in the world, the best teams in the world, and come out on top. And Shanghai, they definitely believe they can play what they have played throughout the entire season and get these wins. Somebody's going to be wrong. in a big way, and we'll find out. But man, it's tough to doubt Atlanta at this point with how much they have proved that they are able to run some of these compositions against these teams.
This epic battle of Atlanta Reign versus the world is almost at its conclusion. One more foe stands in their way, the imperious Shanghai Dragons in our 2021 Grand Final. But before we start getting excited about what's to come, let's hear from Gator about what was an incredible match between the Reign and the Dallas Fuel. The Reign advance. We'll come back after the break. We'll get some words from the victors.
Oh, nice. Should be it? It should be it? Someone. Focus. Nanya, focus. Nice. Let's go!
Finals, baby!
The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to the Watchpoint Post Show, everybody. My name's Danny Lim, and we are joined here now by the best main tank of the Atlanta Reign, Gator. Hi, Gator.
How's it going?
How are you doing? Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you feeling right now? Did you guys expect to defeat Dallas Fuel?
Yeah, we knew we could beat them pretty easily. I didn't think they were anything special. We just had like a bad match going in. We honestly should have 3-0 Chengdu. But I think we're actually the best team to be able to beat Shanghai too, given like how we play.
Okay, all right.
But
yeah, I just want to talk about your...
They're insane though, so we'll be ready tomorrow.
Okay, well, thank you for that answer. Let's talk about Atlanta Reign's amazing run today. Despite having to play 2 matches back-to-back, you guys were able to take down not only the San Francisco Shock, but the Dallas Fuel as well. How did you prep for your match against the Dallas Fuel? Because I'm guessing you didn't have much time for preparation because you had to play 2 matches.
No, we literally said 5-minute break. I asked for a 10-minute break, and then we sat down and did like a 10-minute review and hopped in lobby. So we did not have much time to prepare for anything, but we've scrimmed them. We know how they play. Like they're a pretty insane team. Like they're really good with trying to out-tempo the enemy team. So we just found ways to either out-tempo them back or to slow the game down. So yeah, I mean we do what we can do, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean either control the tempo, and if you could slow them down, you slow them down, and it worked perfectly, and that's why you got the win against the Dallas Fuel. Now, next question is a little bit more of a fun one. Last time I talked to Iris actually told me that you're the player that sort of rallies up the team and also boosts the teammates, your teammates' confidence. Did you have anything prepared for your teammates going into today's match? Because honestly, Dallas Fuel was, a tough opponent, heading in, and they were, the favorites as well.
All we really did is just as a team is we're a for fun team. We play for fun, so we show up to the tournament, and to us this is just like a for fun tournament. So honestly, we just didn't really think about it. We just kind of woke up for the match. We never did any warm-ups. We just kind of show up, do our thing. We figure it out in the match. When we load into the lobby, we got like that 60-second window to figure out what we're gonna do. That's where like we showed we're ready.
All right, awesome. And last but not least, of course, with today's win against the Dallas Fuel, you guys are going up to face against the Shanghai Dragons. What are your thoughts? I mean, you did say your thoughts a little bit about Shanghai Dragons, but if you could elaborate a little bit more on your thoughts on Shanghai Dragons in the playoffs, and also how confident are you going into the grand finals?
We're confident. Shanghai's, I honestly think they're the best dive team of all time. So we probably won't #mirror the dive. We'll see. We'll figure it out tomorrow. But we'll figure it out. We have some stuff cooked up, so I guess we'll just show up tomorrow, see what happens.
All right, you guys have some stuff cooked up. I'm actually very excited to see that for tomorrow. Gator, I'm going to end the interview here today. Again, big congratulations on your win.
Thanks, Danny.
All right, thank you so much. Let's back to the deck.
And here, one last look at that losers bracket. The Atlanta Reign, they fought and clawed their way through, and they will be the team meeting the Shanghai Dragons in the final. And quite frankly, this has been the best Overwatch this team has played all season long. I think they had a lot of great moments throughout, the different tournaments and whatnot, but I think the way they showed up in the playoffs, even in that first match they lost against the Chengdu Hunters, I do think that this is the best look we've seen from them. They're really able to play to their strength. I can't wipe the smile off of my face anymore because, let's go, Reign! I'm so happy. I couldn't be more thrilled. You guys couldn't be more upset. And I'm
happy.
I'm happy. I'm living my best life right now.
Before the interview, I talked to Gator and asked him, it was like, hey, am I too late to jump on the Reign hype train? And he was like, no, man.
All aboard.
You're good to go, all aboard. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
One of us. Now, we do have to break down all the action as well, of course, because there's still a lot to be said about the Dallas Fuel as well, because quite frankly, even though if that wasn't their peak performance today, throughout this season, that franchise, they went leaps and bounds from anything we've ever seen from the Dallas Fuel before, and that is due to phenomenal players, to a great coaching staff. Like Dallas Fuel as a whole, they got a W this season for sure, and no one can take that away from them, not even the Atlanta Reign, which did end up kicking them out of this tournament. But, this series, it did look like a close series to start it off, but then the Reign just slowly edged ahead, and they were able to really play to their own style.
Yeah, it was a really interesting match, and you have to give props to the Atlanta Reign. I think there's a lot of people out there, mainly Dallas Fuel fans, who are going to be like, oh, Dallas has been better and all that kind of stuff. Atlanta's actually been very consistent throughout the entirety of the season, and they did it playing their game. You can see it in the confidence of Gator. They like playing with each other as a team. They like their style, and they're just playing their game and working at it. Something that I was very confused at by the Dallas Fuel, and we talked about it going into this match of, I don't think Dallas want to end up in this mirror, and I have questions of why they ended up choosing the King's Row. I feel like that is a map that favors the Atlanta Reign, but you can't even say that, Atlanta just played Brawl and won because of good maps. They won that Dorado, head and shoulders above Dallas Fuel. They were able to stop this Dallas Fuel tempo, and Dallas did look lost at times, so I think you need to give massive props to Atlanta and the way that they're playing the game, because, as I said, it's the best Overwatch they've ever played, and they deserve to be in these grand finals.
Yeah, it was definitely a mental win here for the Atlanta Reign as well, because they have completely different mentalities throughout this game. I mean, we just heard Gator, with the help of Danny, just so loose when it comes to it. It's just like, yeah, we'll just figure it out, with the 60 seconds on the timer. It's like, you're not supposed to do it that way. Bad props during the final, but you're supposed to, prepare and have these rigorous plans. The Dallas Fuel, they were on the other spectrum of that. They had so many compositions they brought out in this series. It started out with, of course, Sparkle playing the Doomfist. They were playing some Reinhardt. They went over to the Lucio Moira dive. We saw them matching with Brawl and Hanamura. And ultimately, the Dallas Fuel, I just feel like they tripped over themselves. It wasn't the most clinical of gameplay coming out of the Dallas Fuel. And this is an organization that we expect to match the Shanghai Dragons. I mean, we need to talk about the C9. Like a massive C9 just stepping off to the cart, too focused on diving aggressively, and they leave the cart when it matters most. Massive props for Pelican for hacking Hanbin and stopping Hanbin contesting the point. But it felt like throughout the series, Dallas Fuel, like they were just overthinking it. They were trying so many different things, and they weren't really confident in what they were trying to pull off. I mean, King's Row, Costa brought it up, please don't pick King's Row against Atlanta. Washington Justice. Stop it. Washington Justice picked King's Row. Atlanta won it. Gladiators picked King's Row. Atlanta won it. Shock picked King's Row. Atlanta won it. Dallas Fuel picked King's Row. Atlanta won it. When do you learn? Shanghai
Shanghai's gonna pick King's Row. They're like, we are not going down.
I mean, I don't think Shanghai is gonna lose the assault. Maybe they will, but
I also think it's crazy how Atlanta beat both the San Francisco Shock and the Dallas Fuel in the same day. And like Gator said, they didn't even have time to prep, and just going into, and obviously we all know that San Francisco Shock and Dallas Fuel, they're really good teams as well. So beating both of those teams back to back, I think it's a really big achievement as well.
I think you need to speak to that a little bit though, is because what Johnny just said, Dallas was in their own head. Atlanta is not in their head at all. They're just showing up and they're playing their game and they're playing their style.
They are also in Dallas's head.
That's true. They are living rent-free in Dallas's head, and they got away with this win on the back of that. And it's not even like they're always just overthinking or just playing that one thing. Kai picked up the Tracer, something that he's not known for, and I was like, this will be interesting. Let's see how Kai Tracer goes. But he hit pulse bomb after pulse bomb in crucial moments and had high impact plays. That kill onto Doha with that EMP on that final moment on Dorado was so clutch. Every single one of them is playing at the highest level, and I think that is going to be important because they're going to need it against Shanghai Dragons tomorrow.
Make no mistake. I mean, Kai's Tracer has nothing on Fleta or even some of the best tracers around Kevster, Leave, etc. But he does his job.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. He hit those pulse bombs when he needed to. He got so many crucial kills on Dorado. So it doesn't matter that he can't match the best tracers in the game head to head. He doesn't have that tracking aim like some of the best tracers have. He hit the pulse bombs that were required of him. He contributed to his teams. And we saw that Dallas Fuel, they sometimes struggled. They couldn't nail those necessary clutch plays when they needed to. So Kai, he picked up the Tracer in this playoffs and is playing some of the best Tracer he has all season. Mad props to the Atlanta Reign. They're stepping it up when they have to.
Yeah, but
it is McCree.
It's so good.
But this has got to be an absolute heartbreaker. I mean, we saw the faces of the Dallas Fuel players absolutely devastated because, quite frankly, like throughout the entirety of the season, those two teams have met before, and it was historically now, of course, Dallas Fuel who got the upper hand there. So if you're close to losing a game, you think you should be winning, like that can get to you double and triple as hard as any other game. So yeah, that was definitely really, really tough to see. But all those players across the board, like, please be proud of what you've achieved throughout this season. It's been a phenomenal feat for the Dallas Fuel players.
I feel like Jex's GG sorry is going to come out, but Jex, I honestly believe you did fantastic. Not even today as well, but as well as that, just all throughout the season and all throughout the playoffs as well.
They're going to take it as a failure. Like Dallas Fuel, I think they wanted to make it to that grand finals, and I think they're not happy with their performance today. It sucks when you lose and it feels like you could have done a lot more. But as you said, Dallas Fuel's had a great season. They should really be proud of that. And honestly, don't say GG sorry, you say GG go next. I expect to see all this team and players come back next season.
Yeah, and we can't wait to see them coming back in full force. And now, forget about the Chengdu zone, because we are living in the Twilight Zone here, and chat officially joined us as they got their first prediction wrong as well. That's right. I think we're allowed to say suck it now on broadcast, right?
Yeah.
If the turtle can do so, we can as well, right? But we're too classy for that. We wouldn't do that. I mean, I'm not. Let's go Atlanta. But general consensus is that we are, of course, graceful winners.
Of course.
Absolutely. So let's take a look again how I was right. I was so right. I was just like, so right. And so was the turtle. That's right. Yeah, and I mean, I just want to stare at this all night long. I might actually, I might replace the Fearless picture with this. Someone printed out. That's a golden frame.
Give me that Fearless picture. I'll take it.
All right, I'll hit you up with my Fearless one. Now, if you do remember all the way back at the beginning of the year, yours truly here on the desk were forced to make some hot takes by production for your entertainment, of course. Now, Johnny